Alright, on this video we are going to replace the legs on the Zino Pro. Pretty much exactly the same on a Zino except for the antennas. So I'm only going to do the Zino Pro, but again this is exactly the same for the Zino. The only difference is on the Zino your antenna cables go to the main board. For the Zino Pro, your antenna cables go to this board down here. So what we want to do is, pull our wires out of the way, and then generally you have a piece of tape holding them down to the board. I already have that tape off, but I wanted to show you the tape. They're normally taped down like that. So we're going to be unsoldering it from this power board. And then we have to pull this board out right here because our antenna cables for each leg come to it. But we're just doing this one and we're going to do this one. So I'm just going to take these legs off and then I'll put them back on. I won't be putting motors on. When you buy this leg, it comes with the ESC, and I got the cover off to show you. When you buy this leg, it comes with an ESC already attached and already soldered. The only thing you're going to have to do is attach your motor. So you'll have to attach your motor and solder it to the board. Just 3 solder points. And for this motor, it's red, yellow, black. And then like a 3-phase motor, you reverse them, the motor's going to turn in a different direction. So you want to make sure you take a picture of that or write it down, whatever helps you, so you put it back exactly the same when you're replacing it. If you go black, yellow, red, your motor's going to turn the opposite direction. So in this case it's red, yellow, black, and then we're going to turn in a different direction. So just want to be mindful of that. But I do have a video that shows you how to change ESCs, and in that video we're soldering the motors to them. So I'll attach that video to the end of this one, along with the video that shows you how to tear this down and get to this point right here. So we need to get this board and pull it out first, and you get your wires out of the way so that you have full access to that board, so you can try to get a good hold on it. And it usually takes a little work. Just kind of wiggle it around. If not, you can use something to get it out. But you want to be very careful. This plug right here, very fine wires going to the fan. Those wires will pull right out of that fan so easily because I've done it. So you bring it out a little bit, and then that wire is going to get too tight. So you want to bring it out enough to where you can unplug it. Sometimes it's hard. They like to glue everything really a little bit too much. Okay, so we're unplugged from the fan, and now I can lift this board up. And this board's up now, and there's a little bit of glue on these, so you want to be careful taking those off too. I always just try to give them a little twist before I pry them. You want to be very careful because you can detach the socket from the board. You can see the glue there, and then just get your nail under it and pop it off. Try to do this so you can see it, but it doesn't always work out that way. You see the glue? You want to remove that glue because when you put it back, you don't want that glue to be in the socket and lose your signal. So I'm just going to hold the board over here. We're not doing that leg, we're doing this leg. And then move the wire for the fan so we don't mess that up. So we have the antenna unhooked. We need to unsolder from here. So yes, UK, I know you guys say solder. I say solder. Deal with it. So I like to take tweezers and grab the wire and then put my soldering tip on there. Just simply remove each one. Gotta watch out, don't want to touch that. A little shaky. I've had too much coffee this morning. Bigger ones take a little more because you have more on there and heavier gauge. Don't want to overheat your board. Just get it to bubble and come loose. I just can't. I don't want to hit, and you don't want to hit anything else on the board. You got to be careful with that. So my tip needs cleaned up as well. Okay. So these are all undone. And the way they go, let me get them out of the way. Like this side here, you have red in the front, red in the back. On this side, you have red on the inside, and then red on the outside. So, put the soldering iron, let me clean my tip up. Okay, so, and it even says on the board, I believe, some boards say positive, some have numbers. This one says 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be red, black, red, black. So wires are all loose. We're good to go there. Now we need to detach the leg. So for the front leg, remove these 3 screws. You want to be careful, don't push down. The screws can be tight. You're going to need to push. Did I get the right one? Yeah. You need to push, but you want to hold some force underneath it as well. And then pull that cover off. So now it gets a little trickier. This is your mechanism, and these will pop out. So if you try to turn this right now, that's going to go flying across the room. But it's also an easy way to get it out. Just put your finger on it, bend this arm, and it comes right out into your fingers. Okay? There's only one way to put it back. You'll just follow that notch and line this up to that notch. So that's out. The other one stays in place, but we have some screws, ouch, down in there that we have to remove. So at this point, I'm pulling all these wires out. Get the big ones out first, that way you have more room for that antenna mod or antenna connector. Now we can get to this screw here as well. So this little white piece has to come off. That's what's kind of sandwiching the joint and holding that leg on. Gotta be careful with that board I have loose too. But we're gonna pop this up. Slide our wires off of it. Like I said before, always take the big heavy one off first. Then you have room to get this antenna through. Like that. Okay. So there you have, all your wires are loose. You have one more little ring collar in there, but now you can slide your leg down and take it out. So there it is. Now that usually will stay in place, so you don't have to mess with that. If you have damaged this right here, obviously you need to replace your whole body. So at this point, you're going to take your new one that already has an ESC, and you're going to solder your motor to it, mount your motor, then solder your motor to it. The wires are automatically in the arm, and the reason for that is because they're so hard to fish through there. I've done it. I've fished the wires through there, and it took me like 2 days to do it. So it was on a Zino that the wires had failed, and I didn't want to wait for a whole arm to get here, so I rewired it, and it took me 2 days to get those wires to come through here. Because this portion here is all glued and doesn't come apart, and I didn't want to break it because that's what will happen. So on some Zinos, your antenna's right in here. Some of them, it's actually right here. So, but it automatically comes with the antenna, with the ESC, like I said, and then you're going to mount your motor. So now we can put this one back in place. So basically, you're just going to reverse what we did. And this is the fun part. Let's bring everything up. And the reason why I say it's fun is because I'm on camera, and that's when everything always goes wrong. Okay, that ring did push up, so I just want to make sure I push that ring back down. So we're back in place. Right now it's just flopping around. There's nothing, no ratchet. So now we have this piece here. Okay. Let's get our antenna in first. Wrong way. Flat side up. Antenna. Thin wires, and your fat boys. In the very beginning, I did not like this whole setup because I thought it would, as tight as these wires are in here, I thought the wires would fail. But so far they don't. So far they've held up very well. And you don't want to be twisting your wires up either, so you want to get your wires in the position, keep your wires nice and straight as best you can. That one's wrapping around, but it's okay. It's not bad. You just don't want your wires to be like that. You don't want them twisted like that. So your notches are going to be out here. If I remember, did I do that right? Yeah, I think I did it right. We'll find out, won't we? Yeah, your notches are out here. So get that back in. The hard part is, no, I'm wrong. So fix my wire so it's straight, and my notches are right there. because you want one to go on the notch for that metal band that's already in there. So you just line that up, and then your other one goes here. So my bad, shame on you. So this is all very loose right now. You want to be careful. And then I'll point out the screws for this white piece and that. They're all the same. Don't worry about mixing them up. Let's get her started. Okay, they're all in. Now I'm going to snug them up tight. Good and solid. Okay, I'm not going to worry about putting any of this back together right now. Let's go ahead and get the wires through here. Pull them through. Send this one through. So again, I'm not going to put any of this back on yet. We're not going to put the clip and everything back on. Let's just get it soldered up. In case you run into any problems or anything, that way you don't have to take it all undone again. So we got to solder it back up. Check your wire ends. I generally like to just put a little bit of fresh solder on my wire ends, and then when I go back to here, they solder real nicely. But let's go ahead and just try to see how well they do. So black, I'm going to go in the same order I took them off. Put this black one on first. And actually, it's very hard for me to see right now with these bright lights. They reflect off these solder points, and this wire is so small. You're not in focus either. I apologize for that, but just heat it back up. Okay. Red. I think I'm on there. Okay. There appears to be enough solder on these still to wear on these wires, but if they were brand new wires, I like to put fresh solder on them. Very shaky. So nervous. Okay. I'm not crazy about that one. Let's get this other one on, and then I'll clean that one up. You want to make sure none of your solder joints are touching. That one's good. This one I do not like. The wire spread on the end, so it's a little bigger than I wanted it to be. Clean my tip up here. Clean that up. Okay. All right, so my joints are all back in. Sorry for the focus there, but everything's back together there. Hook in our antenna here. You can glue it back in place. I don't glue them back in place. These snap in really well, generally. You want to be careful. You don't want to break any of this stuff. So those are back in place. Tilt it to that side. Watch out for all these cables. Okay, so putting it back in. You want to slide into the slot, which is always difficult because it's dark down there. And plug your fan in. See the fan plug right here. Plug that back in. This is where tweezers come in handy as well. Because you got cables in your way. I'm trying to keep you in view. Oh, what a pain in the butt. Got it. Whew. Put that back. When it goes back, it shouldn't move like that. So I'm not in track. Now I am. Okay. And when you put it back, you'll notice here, I want to show you again if I can get it back out. The red and black, let me get my tweezers. Red and black fan cable. It wants to get pinched behind this plug, so pull them out of the way. And put your board back, and then just lay the wires down, just like that. So everything's soldered back up, and then after that, before you put your board back in, you want to make sure these wires are all tucked down out of the way, because your board's going to set right on top of them. So you just push them down here like that. Don't push real hard, because the insulation on these, you can go right through it. Just fold your wires down like that. And then the front's going to be a little harder since we just removed all these. It will be a little more difficult because we've disturbed them. Or they'll be brand new when you put them in. So like, we don't want all this bulk here. Let's get this down in here. Down in here. There's little slots that I'm pushing it into. Okay. And then up here, press it down, out of the way, out of the way. Everything's tucked away. So that way the board will sit nice and flat. If your board doesn't sit flat, your SD card's not going to go in properly, your micro USB is not going to go in properly, and you could break them. So then we just put the shoulder parts back on, put this little clip back in place. Generally it just slides right in nice and easy. Just like that. Cables are nice and flat. Put the shoulder cover on and screw it back together. And then next we'll do the back, and in the description of the video I'll timestamp it for front and back leg. Instead of doing two separate videos, have it all in one. And for those of you who read descriptions, you'll see the timestamp and know where to go. Just click that timestamp, it'll take you right to that part of the video. If you don't need to do the front leg, you just need to do the back leg. Actually, it amazes me how many people don't even know how to find the description. So much good information in there, especially when you're selling quads with discount codes. So, locks into place, good to go. Put your cover back on here, good to go. Now the back leg. Back leg's a little different. You don't have to do anything from underneath here. Leave this alone. Don't worry about that. We take this off. 1, 2 screws right there. This slides out, or it's supposed to. Unless I am forgetting. Pretty sure it, oh no, there is a screw in here, that's right. This little tiny guy right there. Forgot. See it? So you replace that, or you remove that one. I always forget about that one. Now this should just come right off like that. Okay, so you have the same situation right here, the exact same setup. Let's go through it on this now. I'm going to turn the arm while I'm holding this clip, and that clip comes right up into my fingertip. See how it slides up? Except it's not coming out easily this time. There. So if you just sit there and work the arm like this while you're holding the clip, it'll come off. Alright, so we unsolder, remove these screws, and slide all this out, and then we take the arm off. So let's go ahead and do that. Unsolder these. See if I can get the right angle to where I'm comfortable and you can still see. Okay, remember that was red, black, yeah. I'm sorry, it was black, red, black, red. I always let them cool a little bit before I let go of them. Okay. So those are done. You got much shorter wires here, no antenna, much nicer to deal with. I'd rather replace back legs than front legs. It's a lot less work. Put your hand under here so you're not damaging anything when you press on it to unscrew it. I've done more front arms. I've only replaced probably a few back arms that I remember. So let's take this guy here and pry it off. Just slide it on up. Flat end goes on top. And then it won't come out yet. We got this collar. On this one you have to remove the collar first, I believe. could have sworn that this pushed out through there. But it might unsnap. Let's see if it unsnaps right here. Now that we have the screws undone. Oh, that's right. I remember. There's a screw down here and here. See, we're learning together. So you can see. See the screws down in there? Like I said, I've only done the back maybe 2 times, tops. I've replaced several front arms. And there we go. So as soon as I undid those screws, it comes out. This does not come off though, that stays attached. So I don't know if that snaps on or what, but I've never removed it. And I've never ordered these brand new, but they do come with the ESC and the wires already up through them as well. I don't know if this part comes on them or not. And I don't want to take that off, but I would think that just snaps in place. I don't know. I don't want to force the issue there. But let's get to here so you can just see how to do that. There's a screw underneath here, and you don't have to remove that whole rubber piece. I don't do it that way anyhow. I always just fold back the rubber. That way I don't take away all its stick. And there's the screw. This one can be easy, sometimes hard to take off. They snap in place once you get that screw out. You can leave the screw in if you want. I only say that because mine didn't come out. And then we get under there and just try to unsnap it. Make sure I didn't lose my screw. And there's your ESC. And you have one screw that holds that in place. But like I said, yours will most likely, yours definitely will come with the ESC. I don't know if they have this screw and they're holding it in place. Sometimes you see them pictured where the ESC is just kind of hanging out. So I don't know. I can't remember. I have some new ones in a bag. I should check. But it just unsnaps. So again, you're going to have the new arm, wires already intact, ESC already soldered here. You're going to mount your motor, and then you're going to solder it to the ESC. Take pictures, know the order that these are in. If you didn't see the very first part of the video where I did the front leg, these are, you reverse this red and black, it reverses the rotation of the motor. So it's black, yellow, red, turns that way. Red, yellow, black, turns that way. Yellow is always in the middle. So that's that. I'm not going to worry about putting that all back together. Let's just put this back on, get it soldered up for you, and be done with her and end the video. So reverse everything you did. Those screws are still down in there, so just tighten them up. Okay, let's get this down back on there so it is more secure. Back in place. All right, now this, get your wires so they're not all twisted up. It's better just to go ahead and get them in there first, and then you can kind of swing them around. Flat part up first. Okay. So keep your wires semi-flat. You don't want them twisted up. You don't want your wires to go like that. You want to keep them kind of straight, so bring the leg all the way back. Line your notch up, and then your other one's going to go in the front. This is going to go back there. So let's put those screws back in place. Where are they? Okay, nice and tight. And put this back in place. Just slides right on in there usually. There we go. Nope, I just knocked it right out. There we go. I think I'm in. Almost in. Wiggle it. There. Still not all the way. This one's being a pain in the butt. Yeah, it feels like it's all the way in. We'll know when we put this back on, because you got two tabs here that these will sit into, so I think I'm okay. We're going to leave it alone for now though. Let's solder everything back. I wasn't going to go that far since my first half of my video I re-soldered them, but for those who didn't watch that part because you didn't need to replace the front legs, then we'll just re-solder it back up. So black first. Do it without my tweezers. And again, I can't see the wire because of the glare on the solder, but do my best here. Did I time out on my, yeah, my heat's down. This goes into a standby. So my temperature's way down. I gotta wait for it to come back up, but it does it very fast. And we're almost there. And we're getting there, so I'll try. Got it. Got it. Such a hard angle. Trying not to hit the other stuff. Got it. Got it. Okay. Those are all set. Now I'm just going to push the wires down here. And I'm going to show you that screw pole and that screw pole. Make sure your wires are between them. Okay, see everything? Put shoulder back on. And if I put this metal piece in right, this will slide on properly. Get in the groove, slide it on down, and it did. There, I felt that metal snap down better. So let's get this one first, that little tiny screw, so we do not forget it. Because it's an easy one to forget, just like I forgot to take it out. It's easy to forget to put it back. You want to make sure you get that sucker all the way in too, because it'll stop your leg from hitting. So now let's just feel the leg real quick. Yep, we got it. Put these other guys in. I don't want to fully turn the leg till we get those guys in. And see that? Forgot to put a screw in. One of the screws for the white ring, I believe, is what I forgot to put in, because I've still got my screw for that. I put that screw in. So yeah, I forgot one of the white ring screws, but you know how to do it now, and you can learn from my mistakes and do it properly. But we can put these wires here back and put that piece of tape on. Use your own piece of tape if this one's not sticking well, which this one probably won't because it's been off for a long time. This quad's been apart for a while. So you put the tape back on, just holds the wires down right there. And then you put everything back together. But in my case, I got to go back and put that missing screw back in. But it all locks in nice and easy, nice and, you know what, I didn't forget. That goes to my ESC. All right, so I didn't make a mistake. It goes to here. They use the same type of screw, so I thought, ooh, I made a mistake, but I did not. And then you snap this back in place. Fold that back and tighten it up. Re-stick that, and you're done. So I don't have to take it back apart. I did the right thing. I didn't screw it up. And that's that. So that's how you replace the front leg and the back leg, and we did it in under an hour. So to get to that point, there's a video attached to the end of this video that shows you how to take all this apart. And there is another video I'll attach that shows you how to do the ESCs and motors. Plus I explained it in this video, so hopefully this video will help. I know it's a long video, but like I said, you're either going to watch this part or you're going to watch this part, so it's really not that long. And I'll put a timestamp in the description below this video of it starts out with this, so I'll put a timestamp in for the back motor. And I don't need to do a video. I never do a video of how to put it back together for things like this, because if you've taken it apart and you can't put it back together, then you can just kind of go back and look at the beginning of the video and see how it goes. So putting it all back together just leads to more time in the video, so I'm not going to do that. But that's how you replace the front leg and back leg. Make sure you have a good soldering iron or soldering iron, and it'll go a lot easier for you. And always keep your tip nice and clean, well tinned, and you're good to go. So that's it. I think I am covering just about every how-to you can for these Hubsan Zinos, the Zino, Zino Pro, and Zino 2. So thumbs up, hit that notification or hit that button, that subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and as always, hit the bell for future content, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.